what is Primetime? Primetime is our weekly show, if you would, that we end up going through all the things happening inside of the connected franchises that we run here collectively called the Bespoke Football League. We have a league in the PlayStation 5, we have a league in the Xbox Series X, and this is just our time to celebrate what we're all doing. All right, so we're on week 2. Well, we're on week 1 of the actual season. Finally, we got everything done and we got people playing games. So, kind of a quiet agenda for today. We're going to go over some announcements, a little bit of housekeeping that we just have to do all the time. Then we're going to go over some BFL draft rankings. It's not very easy to be able to figure out what teams are the best when you don't have the website integrations, but I went through and found out what I think are the top 8 teams in each league that are poised to win year 1. Then we're going to do a little weekly recap, look at what is happening in the Bespoke Football League. I only got one clip, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then after that, we're going to jump right into the PS5 game of the week, which is going to be live. It's going to be me, Pleated Pants, getting my butt beat by Expert. Thank you for the Leroy there, Kitch. I needed that right in the old ear hole. That was perfect. That was perfect. If I was not awake, I am awake now. And then what we're going to do after that is we are going to go and look at the Xbox Series X game of the week, which is Kitch versus Mike at your KFC. Hey, Aliens are real no cap. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Dolphins or Patriots? I think probably Dolphins. I just don't think that the Patriots have, they haven't proven anything to me, and I think the Dolphins have a good roster on paper. But I'm not a bettor, so I have no clue what the lines or any of that stuff is. Let's go over some announcements real quick. First of all, you know what? I try to make it so we never overlap here, but there's still no companion app. The latest that we've gotten from Clint that says it's soon, it's getting first party reviewed. And he even said today in a message that he knows that this is longer than it should be. It is what it is. Until we get the companion app, we're not going to have any integrations with Neon Sports or Daddy Leagues. That is unfortunate, but the season will go on. As for the Futures League, that's still on hold because the draft fix, it looks like it's still there. The last title update that EA gave said that they were working on it. It was one of the 3 main things that was on their list of stuff going on. We're not going to do futures until that fix is in, and I have tested it because the whole idea is to play with a league 10 year in the future. And if they all look like 240-pound linebackers, that won't be any fun whatsoever. A part of the greatness of Madden is that, the different body types and sizes matter. And it would I feel like it would be silly. All right. So there's going to be some people here. They're probably not even the ones that the ones that need to hear this probably aren't here. But this league revolves around the use of Discord. I need everyone to get in the habit of checking it once a day, answering any direct tags that people give you and or direct messages. Turn your notification on. Communication is critical. The only way that we can do this league is if we're talking with each other. So when you don't respond to messages, when you don't respond to tags, and you can't get your game going, it's really hard for this league to be successful. So please get in the habit of checking Discord at least once a day. Other thing is I've watched a lot of games. It's been really cool between Twitch and YouTube. There's a plethora of games that can be watched from BFL. And so far, I think that the gameplay has looked really, really, really good. So let's keep that up. Let's keep playing regular football, and you guys know how that all is. I'd rather not have to police anything. I'd rather you all self-police. So if you ever are in a stream and you see something, please let the person know. Most of the time, it's just an, oh my God, like it's just muscle memory. Remember, not Justin, a lot of times he's just so used to the hurry up, and he would always wait or call a timeout when he did it. But I think gameplay's been looking fantastic. Stats are looking good, except for everyone's INTs. But yeah, like I think everything's great. So thank you. So let's talk about a little bit of this schedule clarification. So and this is just for it to be abundantly clear, there's going to be times where two people aren't going to be able to get your games played. Work life and all of that stuff happens, right? What we do is we just do it real simple. If you can't play your games because you just can't coordinate your schedules, we'll just do a fair simulation. But if you're attempting to contact your opponent and your opponent ghosts you, BFL rules will be that you will get a forced win and the ghoster will get a forced loss. But what I really need you to do is to use that Discord game scheduling channel rather than Discord PMs, because I'm not going to get into a he said, she said sort of thing, of saying, well, like, I just don't want to deal with it. If there's any discrepancy or there's any argument about it, we're just fair simulation. But please don't ghost. If you guys are ghosting because, you don't have the time, we understand. Just say you don't have the time. And we can put you on auto and you can come back. We're not going to kick you out of the league if you talk to us. But if we don't hear from you, it's really hard for us to make any decisions for whether or not that we keep you in the league. All right, so now let's go into a little quick thing here. We're gonna go and look at some BFL draft rankings. I did this like really quick. I don't have any notes. So this will be something that people can talk about on Twitter, because I'll post a screenshot of this on Twitter after the stream. If I'm having trouble talking already and all I'm drinking is water, it's going to be a long day. Let's start with the Xbox Series X draft rankings. So the thing is here is that there's a lot of people that took different strategies on the way that they're drafting. Some people went for some older folks to fill out their team with win now mentality. Other teams look very, very, very young and not good. And then there's some that are just kind of in the middle. To be completely honest, here in this Xbox Series X draft, I think that if I would have included the computer drafted people from, the people that are just CPU controlled, I think that there might have been a couple that moved in. I think Big Country and Kitsch might have moved down, and we would have put in one or two of the CPU controlled teams. But what I like about most of these all teams, they all have sort of the same thing. The top ones are going to have good quarterback, and they're going to have a good selection of high quality players and no glaring holes. Like, if you have like 3 of your 5 cornerbacks are 90 or less than 90 speed, you probably didn't get put on this list. So this is what I think. I think Lenny has a really solid team. It's veteran heavy. It has a lot of his actual Chiefs players in it. Teddy's team looks like crazy scary on paper. I didn't see any real hole inside of it. You get down to the 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and the issues with all of their teams are going to be that their quarterbacks are iffy, right? Like we might have a Daniel Jones in one, we might have like a Zach Wilson in one, and they're just like, yeah, don't know. It's going to depend on whether or not that those quarterbacks can, do the job. Like, I think Lenny had the best draft, followed by Teddy, then RKB, then Steak, who's always been known to be a really good drafter. Cool Del Guy, who is a really good player. Naturally, to have a good team, he should be scary this year. Big Country, and then Kitch, the reason why you're number 7 on there is exclusively because of the quarterback, because I thought that the rest of the team actually looked really good, but it's like I forget who the QB is. Well, is it Matt Stafford? I think one of these had Matt Stafford. All right, let's go and see what the PS5 looks like. So this is kind of scary. MacDub's been slow rolling us and saying that he doesn't have good stick skills and he's not all that great of a player. But if you look at his team is pretty scary. Pretty scary. I wish I would have wrote down some notes, but he had no holes. I thought that he had a great looking team. Gig'em has a really good team too. Both of them are a little bit older, and since they're a little bit older, that's what gets you the win now, right? Like like Mike and I, our teams in the Xbox Series X at least are both like extremely young, and like on paper right now it looks like we stink compared to the teams that have like 5, 6 to 10 players over 85 overall, where some of the people that drafted young have 1 or 2, like your first 2 draft picks, and then everything else you started going young. Magic Mark has a really good team too. Now we know that inside of his draft, I think he flipped around some draft picks on the 5 years and the 1 years. So he might have some trouble in year 2, but here in year 1, I think that he has a really good team that can compete on paper. The scary thing is with Expert having the 4th best team, and you know what? I don't want to give him any more ammunition than he needs, because he's already probably the best player on paper in the PS5, and he also has an 87 overall defense that is just stacked with a bunch of mid to older stalwarts. I think that he's going to be extremely difficult to beat this year. Gobias had a surprisingly good draft for the CPU. Like, he doesn't really have any major holes. I think that the issues that Gobias, Lenny, and TFR have here are that they have quarterbacks that are a little bit unknown, and who knows if they're going to be really good. TFR is one of those players that has gotten really good over the past 3 years. He wasn't bad to start with by any feats of the imagination, but he's getting better and better. And so to give him like a really good win first team, I like his chances of making a really late run into the PS5 playoffs. So those are the power rankings. Now let's look at a weekly recap. This is a new little thing that I've put together, and we'll see what people like about it and see if it's something we keep doing. The first thing is oh my lord, looking around the league, running is back. Swift from my Bengals, Barkley from the Buenos Aires Aviators in the Xbox Series X, and Mixon over there from Atlanta in the PS5, both had over 200 yards rushing in week 1. So they said that this new blocking stuff was a real deal, and I really think that it is a real deal. Here's the deal, folks. Stop trying to use the hit stick unless you know that you got it lined up. Unless you really want to use it. Go back and watch Clutch Shot and I's game. If you do not take good angles and you do not tackle well, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. Another thing is that it is, as of right now, a league that people are still trying to learn their personnel. There have been a ton of interceptions. 9 teams in the Series X and 6 teams in the PS5 threw at least 3 interceptions in week 1. That's 15 teams that threw at least 3 interceptions. That is wild. So I think what people are saying is that you got to throw your people open. So you're going to have to at least use the old pass lead mechanics. And people say that if you really want to be a really good passer this year, you're going to have to get used to freeform passing. I'm still not super comfortable with it. I'm still trying to figure it out. But it looks like that it's one of those things. If you want to be a pass heavy team this year, you're going to need to be able to freeform. All right, and then finally, the games were played fast. So there's only 2 games left playing in the Xbox Series X. I think that one of them is getting played right now, and El Kabong will play the other one once he gets off of work. There's still 4 games left in the PS5, and that, you know what, that's kind of to be expected. We got a lot of newer players in the PS5, and you don't really realize how fast these weeks go until you get into them a little bit. And I'll tell you what, they go fast. Like, even though we kind of gave everyone from like Wednesday to Monday to play, sometimes scheduling is just hard. So that goes back to what I was saying before, is communicate early and often with your opponent. Shoot them a message, be the proactive one, let them know when you can play, and see if you can find a time when you can play. Hey, let's look at some of the games of note in both of the leagues. Let's start with the BFL Xbox Series X, and let's look a little bit into the Turkey Jesus J-Train matchup. J-Train ends up getting it by 7 points, 17-10. This was by far the lowest scoring game across all of the leagues. A real defensive battle. In fact, Tampa Bay was held to only 255 total yards of offense. And it's not like that J-Train really racked up the stats either, but Richardson ended up having 182 total yards. I think that he had like maybe 150 passing and about 30 rushing, and he ended up having 2 TDs, which just ended up being enough to be able to clip J-Train. Now, I'll tell you, everyone, that's Turkey's first next-gen BFL game, and it might very well be close to his very first next-gen game altogether. He ended up getting everything set up for his new Xbox right before the draft. So he has not been playing this much, and for him to hold it together against J-Train, one of our known best players in the league, hey, Turkey's gonna do some damage. And everyone that is new to Turkey's game, get ready for some Turkey attack. Another game which really shows that we got some new players that are making splashes. Teddy's first game in the BFL was against perennial stalwart Kilbride, and he beats him by 2 touchdowns and a point. And he did it behind Josh Jacobs and 177 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Now, Kilbride still is getting used to a more running quarterback, Lamar Jackson did not have his best day. He only had 107 yards passing, but more importantly, he had 4 INTs. So Mike says the same thing that I was thinking. Kilbride started slow last year too, and you know that he's going to be there at the end. But more than that is that Teddy's saying that his number 2 drafted team in the BFL plus his stick skills led to this right here. So everyone, get ready. Teddy's here. Now let's look at a couple games in the PS5. So we still got a few games left to be played, but let's showcase another player that has just joined the Bespoke Football League and has joined us with a bang. This was Mr. Warren's first game. Lenny Fish is Vancouver Sentinels. Didn't play bad. Hopkins had 6 receptions, 129 yards, and his quarterback actually threw for a fairly good amount of yards. It's just that at the end, Mr. Warren's offense was just crazy. It was led by Mixon and his 208 yards and 3 touchdowns, and again, it just shows you that the running game is going to be really important this year, especially if there's all of these interceptions getting thrown by the quarterbacks. And then we have last year's season 2 kind of won Super Bowl runner-up TFR taking on the Real Bacon. And TFR comes out to show that he's for real again, that he's going to be someone that you're going to have to really look into. His offensively, the numbers didn't really stack out to show anything super impressive. Gibson's ran for 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bacon's defense played awesome. DeForest Buckner had 6 tackles and 4 tackles for loss. And I think that I saw about maybe 4 more tackles for loss that he had. So it was like a lot of points, but there was also a lot of good defense played here, including Justin Simmons taking one back to the house, 101 yards, interception, return for a touchdown, which really is the difference in the game. If Bacon goes in and scores, he has 30 points, and if TFR takes off that 7 points, he has 30 or 27. So the difference in the game was 101 interception return for a touchdown. So what an absolute battle. Welcome, Bacon. This was Bacon's first BFL game. He got a really solid opponent to be able to play against, and good job to everyone. This was a great beginning week for the BFL. I think I'm going to keep trying to do these every once in a while, do them weekly, look at a couple games that I thought were important. It would be really nice if I had some clips to go with them. So in the Discord, there is a content creator corner, and there's also a tailor-made top 10 form. If you guys have some clips that you have made, you have some shorts that you have created, you have some TikToks and all of that stuff, please let me know, post them, and we can get them played here in line with some of the scoreboard. So we got one, and it was the beginning of Clutches and I a game. I'll tell you what, folks, what that shows you right there, and this is not meant to rub it in the clutch at all. This is actually something that we all could do because I did it later in the game. Take a look. You got to make the right angles to get some of the, to get these fast backs down. And Clutch is the best hit sticker last year by far. And you see what happens. He makes a hit stick attempt right there that maybe a dive tackle would have stopped it. And the jukes are extremely good. So that's really all that I have for Bespoke League Primetime today. Hopefully next week we can have the power rankings coming back, that we have some more clips that we can have people show, and that we'll continue to do these type of game recaps, and we'll see as the season goes, there will be more storylines that start to amass, and we'll start really highlighting and looking at those things that are happening inside of the Bespoke Football League. So primetime happens every Sunday, 6 o'clock on my Twitch channel. You can find that down below. If you're still watching this and you haven't hit the like button and you haven't subscribed to the channel, you hadn't hit the bell icon, and you haven't put something down in the comments, what are you doing? That helps me a ton. It gets these videos out. I don't like to beg, but please. Like we say every time at the end of the Twitch stream, in a world that's decided to lose its mind, be more kind, my friends. Try to be more kind. Be a little bit better this week. Say one more nice thing. Have one more kind action. Will make the world a little bit better place. Until next time, Pleated Pants. I love you all, and I'm out.